Hey guys, in the car today, I was driving and thinking about something, and that thought turned into a meditation, and I thought it would make a great video. So here we are, and I want to talk today about criticism. Criticism. Let me put out a situation for you. Have you ever been taken aside by somebody, or maybe they blow up in your face, and they start criticizing something that you've done, whether it's respectfully or not, but then they begin to explain your motivation? You ever had that happen? Maybe they say something like, now I know that this is how you feel. I know this is what you're thinking. Or maybe it's an accusation. They say, this is your problem. You think this and it's not true. And you think to yourself as you hear them, that's not the way I think. I don't think that. I don't believe that. And you try to tell them, and maybe they don't want to listen to you, but you start to wonder, wait a minute, why do you think that I think that? Or why do you think that I believe that? Here's what I think is going on in some of those cases. The person who is criticizing you is actually criticizing themselves. Or maybe let's put it the other way. When you criticize somebody and you have a rant about their motivations, or maybe you're even gossiping behind their back, I hope not, but about their motivations that's disconnected from who they really are, the problem is you have that problem. Let's look at the example of Judas and Mary in the Bible. When Mary broke the alabaster flask to anoint Jesus at the dinner, it says that Judas rebuked her and he said that thing should have been sold and the money given to the poor. And it says that Judas didn't really care about the poor. Judas was a thief. And so he's accusing her of mismanaging money while he was the one mismanaging money, and he was putting that on her. Why do we do this? I think we do this because we know that there's something in us that needs to be corrected. Maybe it's even the Holy Spirit speaking to us about it. And we're hearing the criticism, but we haven't yet applied it to ourselves. This can be conscious. If you know you've got a problem with pride, you can see it in other people, and so you want to start calling it out. Or maybe it's unconscious, where you are so able to articulate how a person would think, but it has nothing to do with that person. It's all about you. I'll give you an example. Back when I was a youth pastor, there was a very small group at that point, but somebody accused me of wanting to consolidate power for myself, which was ridiculous because there was like 3 volunteers and 25 kids. But I thought that was so strange because I never once had crossed my mind, and it's not something I really care about and think about. I've got other shortcomings, but I don't think being power hungry is one of them. And the more I thought about this later, the more I realized they wanted more power. They wanted more influence and more say, and they were frustrated by that, and so they thought I was in the way of that, and they started putting their problem on me. Jesus told us that when you've got a log in your own eye, take that out before you remove the speck, because he says that way you'll see clearly. Because when you've got your own mess that you haven't dealt with, and you go to try to rebuke or criticize somebody, you're not going to see it clearly. And you're going to pour all of your mess onto somebody else, and they're just going to sit there baffled at what the problem is. And they're also going to get angry because they're going to feel like they're being falsely accused. And I suppose in a way they are. We see this all over the place today. We see this on TV where every political group wants to assign motivation to another group. We see this in the racial thing. Every white person thinks this about every black person. And I hear that and I go, that's so weird. I've never even heard that thought before. And it makes me wonder, are these people dealing with this motivation in their own heart that they're trying to overcome? We see it in doctrinal disputes where we can't just argue the text. We've got to argue why you believe that. You only believe in the pre-trib rapture because you don't think you should have to suffer, and you're afraid of that. And we go, no, we don't think that. Do you think that? And we don't want to turn it around either and say anytime that somebody accuses us, it's because that's their problem. And we should be willing to take criticism when it comes our way. But if you find yourself just seething about something somebody did, and then you start saying, you know what, I know this is why they did it. This is the kind of person they are. I got something to say to them. Check your heart first and see if that's not something that you've got to deal with. Maybe you're actually a lot like that person. Or maybe you're afraid how you'd handle yourself in that same situation. I've known people that will gossip and then accuse people of not communicating and being dishonest. And it's like, you don't see the problem here? This is your issue. So when you are criticizing somebody, make sure that it's legitimate and it's not something you've got to deal with in yourself. And when you are being criticized, not every criticism that comes your way is legitimate. Be wise, take a rebuke, take a kind word when you need it. But if what somebody says prayerfully and truthfully doesn't line up with your motivations, you don't have to take that. Only the Lord can judge you. And that phrase has been misused so many times. It's been abused so many times. But you know what? It's still true. Only the Lord can judge you. So let him judge you. Let him reveal your motivations. And then don't let anybody else tell you what they are. And just as the Lord showed grace to you when you repented, if that person repents and comes to you, you show that same grace to them. So interesting topic I thought today, guys, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.